I don't really know. Next up is Nonprofit Insider.
Driving, music's blaring in my ears. Engines roaring, the horizon's drawing near. Pedal to the floor, no more feet in the door. Gonna drive right out of this bitter night. I'm a constant.
Welcome to Nonprofit Insider. My name is David Unger, and I'm pleased to be hosting a show with executive directors and key people of local nonprofits. I've worked in the nonprofit world myself for over 30 years. And in those years, I've realized that the majority of the community does not know about the organizations that provide critical services and benefits to our community that we sometimes take for granted. This is a chance to hear about the organizations that touch so many in our community. The opinions expressed on Nonprofit Insider are not necessarily those of WMPG, its staff and underwriters, or of USM. Last week, we announced on the show that Governor Paul LePage was going to be on this week's show, but his office told me on Monday that he had to cancel. We also got notification from them today that we will not be able to reschedule with Governor LePage as part of our three-part series with the gubernatorial candidates. And we have a great guest with us today, and she knew that this might happen, so we had her in the wings, but we also had her scheduled for a couple weeks out. And today we have Pam Erickson. I'm sorry, Pam. She's the executive director of the Coastal Study for Girls. Welcome, Pam.
Thanks, David. The Nonprofit Insider is just a great idea, and I can tell you guys have a ball.
Well,
with
we
the show.
we have about a 15-minute sound check before the show, and it was one of the bizarrest 15 minutes that we had since I started the show. People were coming in late. Somebody's here very early wanting to know where the chocolates were. I mean, it's just live.
Sounds like my kind of place.
Right. Live community radio. It doesn't get any better than this. So, the Coastal Study for Girls. I'm sure there's not a lot of people in our area who know about this. What is it?
I will say that is true. However, it's growing. And so we're really excited because we used to say that we're Coastal Studies for Girls and people said, what is that? And now when we say we're Coastal Studies for Girls, people have a little bit better idea. So word is starting to spread. We are a science and leadership semester school for girls, and we're located up at Wolf Neck Farm in Freeport, Maine.
So when you say semester school, what is that?
A semester school is an opportunity for kids from public or independent schools to leave their home and school and community and study away for an entire semester. In our case, it's 10th grade. So we have girls come at the beginning of their 10th grade year, which is late August, and graduate in mid-December. Or girls come the second semester of their 10th grade year. So they're about 15 years old, and they come in mid-February and graduate in late May or early June.
So when you say graduate, it's just graduating the semester. It's not graduating high school per se.
Correct. They graduate from our program with full academic credit. So while we offer a whole suite of academics, English, history, foreign language, math, and then we dive really deeply into marine science and leadership, the sending schools, be they public or independent, grant the students their credit so that they don't lose pace with the school that sent them to us, and in fact are leaps and bounds ahead of where they were before they came.
Okay. So are these just for Maine students?
No, we've got students from all over the country, and we've had a couple of international students as well, one from Mexico right now and a student from Nepal who had joined us in the past. But students come from all over. We've served about over 100 schools in probably 25 states so far, but about a third of our students every semester are from Maine. We've got 6 kids this semester out of the 15 that we house who are from our home state. So usually about a third of our kids are from here.
So your capacity is 15.
Right now it's 15, yes. We've renovated what we call the Little Yellow Farmhouse on the Maine coast. And the color is peace yellow, intentionally chosen. So it's a beautiful place for young women from all over the United States to come and spend 16 weeks of their 10th grade year.
So you and I have known each other for about 10 years now.
We have.
And we were talking about that a little bit before the show. So I've been kind of watching the progress of the school from its here's an idea, and two of us are sitting in a room and scratching our head saying, what do we do next?
Right.
To an actual program
Right.
where kids are participating and graduating at each semester. What would you say was, besides the funding, okay,
Sure.
because that's universal for
Sure.
every nonprofit, what would you say the largest issue that you had to face was?
I'll say two. One being visibility. So for a startup organization, getting the word out has taken us a little while, although that tide is beginning to turn as well. And as we grow our alumni base, we've got 125 triumphant girls out in the world now. So we call them triumphant once they've graduated from Coastal Studies for Girls. So they help us to spread the word. We've got a lot of interested girls and families in schools who really believe in this work now because they've seen the kind of transformation that happens in girls who return. So the visibility was an early challenge. I would say that another early challenge was staying on target with the mission. And so we had a lot of folks who said, maybe consider bringing in freshmen, or maybe consider bringing in juniors, or what about a day school, or a lot of different things that we had to say. This is about 10th grade. It's a residential experience. It's about immersion on purpose. It's about 10th graders because the work that they do with us is going to spark some of the choices they make as a junior and senior. So the more that we held true to what we really believed in, the more that we found that was a smart way to go, and was a little challenging in the early years, but is coming back as a great choice.
One of the things that intrigues me most about startups and young organizations like yours is, where does the seed start? Who came up with the idea, and how did it evolve?
Wow. How long is the show this afternoon?
Well, you only have about 4 minutes until our trivia question.
That's good to know. Well, a couple of answers to that. I would say that the real gut place and heart place for me is from growing up in northern Wisconsin, in a place where there were fewer opportunities for young women, and the choices were limited, resources were limited, and I didn't know that there were a lot of things out there and a lot of opportunities for where girls and women could go. So I think coming to the East and coming to experiential education with that idea of a desire to find voice and to find choice and to help instill that in young women is the grounding piece for Coastal Studies. And then the piece beyond that that's a little more real time is engaging with girls in middle school and high school who want this kind of experience, who are curious, who are capable, who are intelligent. And the semester school model, while it is just fabulous, are all co-ed offerings. And so it was a matter of researching and seeing that there wasn't a semester school with a focus just on girls, and girls just like sea anemone, just absolutely teeming and alive and capable, and needed somebody to say, you can do this, and we need to make a place for this to happen. So we're the first and only all-girls semester school in the United States, and girls are really beginning to come to us from all corners of the U.S.
So the school's tuition-based, right?
Yep, correct.
Okay. Do you feel it's expensive, inexpensive?
I'm glad you asked that. It's a tuition-based program, and at the same time, we've given away a significant amount of scholarship money. And the geographic, the socioeconomic, the ethnic diversity that we've been able to create in the first 10 semesters is absolutely fabulous. And I will say that at first set, it might appear like it's a lot of money, but what happens to these young women at a time in their life when they can make use of it? They're 15 years old. They're like sponges. They're excited. They take back what Coastal Studies for Girls offers to homeschool and community. It impacts friends. It impacts high school choices, college choices, career choices, and life thereafter, and is an investment that's unparalleled.
Right. And I think one of the frustrations I have as a consultant and a former agency exec is when people say your programs are too expensive. Well, you still have bills to meet.
Absolutely.
You still have people to pay. You still have, costs to running it. And you can only fundraise so much. And, you got to pay the bills.
Yes, we have to pay the bills, and with the kind of education that we offer with the student-teacher
What's the ratio? What is it?
It varies. The biggest classes are 15 to 1 or 15 to 2, but it's not uncommon for an algebra, geometry, or pre-calc class, or French or Spanish to be a teacher to 3 or 4 students. So we only have 15, so we do some classes in very small sizes based on what the girls' needs are from their sending schools, and then some as big as 15 when the whole school is together.
What's been the biggest surprise you had when you started to build this?
I think the multi levels, the variation, the opportunities and challenges from startup to operation in the way of girls' schools, visibility, fundraising, renovation of an absolutely beautiful 1850s farmhouse on the Maine coast, and then telling people about an opportunity, the only one in the country for girls, that raised a few eyebrows at first, and now that we've had 125 graduates, people are really recognizing that we're walking the talking. We're doing what we said we would do.
Are there other models like this out there in the country?
There is. There's a fantastic network called the Semester School Network, which is now about 15 schools all around the nation that after we reached our 3-year mark, we were able to join. So that's really a wonderful organization for us to be a part of. Some semester schools as old as 30 years. So we're not quite at 5 years old, and there are some as old as 30. And again, all co-ed. So we're really excited to be the only all-girls.
Oh, good. So we're at the point of the show where I get to ask you a trivia question.
I can't wait for this part. I have no idea what's coming.
Well, I didn't know either until this morning, and I started to do my research as to the type of question, and I started Googling all these different formats of semester study for girls, see if there were any trivia around that, but there weren't. So rather than make it up, I'm going to go with kind of another piece of useless information that we'll carry with us the rest of our lives. The first ship built by English colonists in America was launched on the Kennebec River in what year? Now I have to go to my midpoint identifier, and then you can give me your answer. Okay. This is WMPG 90.9, Southern Maine and Eastern New Hampshire's community radio. Today we have Pam Erickson. I can't get that right. I'm sorry. Executive Director of the Coastal Study for Girls. All right. So you run a school?
Absolutely.
And I gave you...
With the help and support of a lot of other people.
So that means you don't know the answer.
Since the farmhouse was 1850, I'll go with that as a lucky number.
Okay, well, you're off a little bit. According to 50states.com, it was 1607.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure we're going to hear more about that in the upcoming weeks because Amy Lent from the Maritime Museum just confirmed that she'll be on the show.
Fantastic. That's actually one of the field trips that our students go to. So they get a chance to go up and down the state of Maine and visit a lot of really neat places. So they'll be there.
Now, do you go on the trip with them?
I wish that I could. I'm there in heart and spirit, absolutely, and see them depart many days for the field trips, jubilant to load up the vans and give a wave goodbye and know that they're off to some great things.
Well, okay, so we're going to get serious again, okay? And you started an organization, a very specific mission, very small target group, but hopefully to grow. And Maine has a very high percentage of startup organizations and people who just want to do things. If someone wanted to start an organization, what advice would you give them based on what you've learned?
I think that I would say that the passion has really got to be there and a desire to persevere. And so there were a lot of opportunities to have turned and gone the other direction. And a lot of people who said that it couldn't be done. And yet there was a feeling deep in my gut and heart, as well as in that of a couple of other people who were just absolutely critical in starting the school. Edith Aronson, the president of our board, being the other person who was just an incredible advocate and a lighthouse of support since the beginning. And so it was a fire that burned in my gut and heart and in that of others. And I think we've got to have that kind of passion and the desire to persevere through the rough weather and to know that this is the kind of thing that's good for girls and it's good for the world.
When the first class of girls showed up, what was that like?
That was fantastic. I'm so glad you asked, and it's easy to remember. It was February 14th, so Valentine's Day of 2010, and they came from all parts of the country, and we circled up in the snow. And I remember a delightful board member coming with red roses for each of the students, and we all stood teary-eyed in the little field next to the school and welcomed the Pioneer class. It was a moment to remember.
Huh. That's great. If you had to hang your hat on one aspect of your program, what would it be?
The way that the girls are inspired, they both give and receive inspiration at the school. So they leave with a confidence that they don't arrive with, and they leave knowing that they're capable of much more than they thought. And so their writing of a personal mission statement near the end of the semester encourages them to go out and into the world wanting to make a positive contribution in whatever field that they choose. So they leave transformed, inspired, and recognizing that education can be something that they author, something that they take control of, that they've got a voice, and that they can make some choices in what their future looks like.
But that's not one program.
I think it's the combination of the way marine science and leadership happen, and the way that the foreign language and the math and the English and history are built in around those two. So we encourage girls to come with a variety of interests. Some come because they're interested in marine science. Some come because of leadership. Some have never been to Maine. Some have never been in an all-girls environment. And so they arrive at a place where they know that they need something. They're not always sure what it is. And each student finds something that resonates for them that's a little bit different than every other student. For some, it's the way they write. For some, it's the way they discover the coast of Maine. For some, it's recognizing that their leadership skills are already within them.
So if I could kind of phrase this a little differently.
Sure.
Tell me if I'm wrong. The curriculum just doesn't treat it as a standalone curriculum. It's a living, breathing, ongoing experience of group living and learning together.
Absolutely. So they're immersed in this experience for 4 months of their 10th grade year. And so while they take courses that help them to keep pace with their home setting schools, the foreign language and the math, and then we have just a fabulous group of faculty who I just cannot speak highly enough of, and they have established what's called the Coastal Adventure, which is a beautiful interdisciplinary unit between marine science, leadership, English, and history of the Maine coast. And we've also got a residential life program, so the girls are engaged in activity in the evenings and on the weekends as well. So sometimes there's confusion as the girls say, "Wait a minute, what folder does this go in?"
Right.
And we just sort of chuckle because we say this is what experiential learning is all about. It's about feeling it in every fiber of your being and being open to being creative in your writing, in your thinking, in the way that you live together, in the people that you meet, in the community that you engage with, and in the positive difference that you make in the world. So interdisciplinary is pretty exciting, and that's the beauty, is it's hard to separate just which thing is the most powerful.
Okay. So you obviously have to recruit.
We do.
And you're having an open house, I understand?
We do. We have an open house that's coming up.
Is that a good segue?
Absolutely. That was very smooth, David. Way to go. November 2 from 12 to 3, we've got an open house coming. And the exciting thing about this particular one, while we have some during the summer months as well, is that our students are in residence and will be there to show people around the school a little bit and talk firsthand with them about what their experience is like. So the girls who are with us this semester are looking forward to being hosts of the open house. Again, it's November 2 from 12 to 3.
Do they have to call and register first? Or
It's
just show
helpful if people RSVP. We've got the main number, 865-9700. It's helpful if people RSVP, but we plan to be there from 12 to 3 either way. So we look forward to people stopping by.
What's the biggest question that a parent would ask you?
They want to know if their students are going to be safe and if the academics are rigorous. The answer to both of those is absolutely yes. The team is dedicated. We've got a 24-hour staff, a fantastic residential life staff that lives right on site, and a fabulous on-call system, and academics that are unparalleled. The kinds of educators that these girls have a chance to interact with are just world-class. I haven't seen education that looks like this anywhere else in the country.
And why should I donate to you?
You should donate to us because you're helping to make the world a better place. These women who are 15 years old are curious and capable and inspirational, and every single day something that they do gives me hope for the future and gives me hope for the world.
And you use donations for scholarships?
We absolutely do. We use donations for scholarships and the kinds of education that these girls get, meaning the laptops they use, the field trips they go out on, the guest lectures that come in. Girls are anywhere from the Boston Aquarium to Schoodic Peninsula. They might be on a boat at the Darling Marine Center. They might be at UNE's Marine Mammal Rehab Center. They might be at Maine Hudson Trails on a February snowshoe opportunity. They are up and down the coast of Maine, maybe over at Bowdoin College, where our upcoming marine science presentations will be. Actually, that's another date that's open to the public, which is Friday, November 21. We'll be hosting some public marine science presentations as a result of some fantastic questions that girls put into play, and that's another opportunity to see the girls in action.
That's great stuff. Do you have any questions for me?
You've had a lot of experience in the nonprofit world, and
Is that good or bad?
Of course, I think it's good. As a startup organization who's just about to celebrate our 5th year, and we're writing our 2nd chapter of what this organization can look like. So years 0 to 5 looking different than years 5 to 10. Any particular advice that you might share with an organization who's really looking to be sustainable, looking to grow in size, in fact, and to double our numbers, and to really be around for the long haul so that this important mission can continue to ripple? Any advice for the 2nd chapter?
Again, I only have 2 minutes. This is. Deb just told me I have 3 minutes.
Okay.
I always look at something like that as, what kind of funding opportunities can you provide donors and foundations using your 5 years of success as the benchmark?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it's all about fundraising, especially for no matter what point in your organization. In the larger scholarship fund you have, the more equipment you could provide and keep costs at a reasonable amount. And again, I don't know what your exact tuitions are, so that might be an unfair statement. But I always view it as benchmarks like that are really significant funding opportunities. Mm-hmm. And a lot of organizations that I see go through those benchmarks and don't take advantage of the funding opportunity. They say, okay, we're going to celebrate the 5 years, and wow, that's great, and you have a big party, but you missed a funding opportunity. Mm-hmm. It's all about raising money, because if you can't raise the money, and I know you're working with Deb Nelson, and I'm sure she will agree with me on this, it's all about financial sustainability.
Right.
You have to have that 6 months of cash in the bank. Mm-hmm. So if the donors dry up for a period of time, you have that money to keep the program going and you don't lose the momentum.
Appreciate that.
I don't
Thank
know
you.
if it made sense or helped, but
Absolutely, it did.
so, those are just, some of my things where I see so many startups, don't look at the big picture about
Right.
funding. And, you just work on it day to day, but how do you create the endowment fund? How do you create those funding opportunities for families of your past graduates to create those endowment funds so other girls can come in and take advantage of those opportunities that you provide?
I appreciate that. It's exciting to see our alumni network grow. We invite girls back for a reunion. They've been just a huge plus in our recruitment of other students, and it's wonderful to see how closely connected they've remained to the school, to their semester, and to other semesters. So, girls in semester 2 connect with those in semester 5, and semester 4 connects with semester 9, and we've got this lovely little source of support for these students. And I think it's a group that they enjoy being connected to as they venture out of high school and
So
into
do you have an
college.
alumni club?
We don't officially call it a club, but we call it an alumni network.
Okay.
Yeah, so once a group graduates, they're a part of this group, and they have organized some events on their own. They come back to the Little Yellow Farmhouse in the wintertime and have some other neat things on the horizon that we're planning for them as well.
Well, and if someone wanted to contact you, you have 10 seconds.
Absolutely. coastalstudiesforgirls.org, 207-865-9700.
Great. Well, thanks for being a guest on the show.
Thank you so much, David, for having us.
This went by very quickly, and it's exciting stuff. And it's, after watching for 10 years, it's great to see where you're at with it.
Our gratitude. Thank you.
All right. Well, next week we have Godfrey Wood. Godfrey is the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity. The music appears courtesy of Mike Hubbard. You can find it on www.michaelhubbardmusic.com. Check out Mike's website to see where he's playing this weekend. Thanks to Deb Danger, NPI's Executive Engineer. You can catch Deb on Morning Street, Fridays at 6:30. If you know of a nonprofit that should be on the show, please email me at npi@davidunger.net. Past shows are archived at www.tcmgr.com, NP Insider tab. Until next week.
And stay tuned for Artur and Zvuki Rusi.